What's going on, guys? It's Brandon back here again today. And so sorry if I sound a little bit off. I did not feel well this morning. The turn of the fall season is making my allergies perk up. I'm not sure if I've got a slight cold or what's going on here, but this last night and this morning have just been brutal for me. So we're going to try to get this. I want to get as many of these done because I want to put them out over the next week since preseason's starting. But I still have until after preseason to really get these out. So today we're going to be doing my first predictions for the 2023-24 season. We're going to start with the Central Division because I believe that to be the easiest division to predict right now. The Central Division is not as strong as it once was, and there is a clear divide between the contenders and the non. I'm wearing my white Arizona Coyotes jersey. I believe they wore this when they were still the Phoenix. Yeah, they have the Phoenix patch on here. It's a Reebok. I got this for like $20, so there's no one on the back of it, but I got the Howling Coyote, or the Yawning Coyote, depending on your perspective. So let's get right into this. So I have the magnets on the board for the Central Division of the place they finished in last year. Colorado was first, followed by Dallas in second, Minnesota third, Winnipeg fourth, Nashville fifth, St. Louis sixth, Arizona seventh, Chicago eighth. Thought about wearing a Chicago jersey, but I thought let's wear the jersey of the team that I have highest in the division, which Arizona I think will be higher than Chicago. Which we should just start with eighth place right off the bat. I still think Chicago is going to finish in eighth. Connor Bedard or less, they're going to be better. They're not going to be much better. Connor Bedard cannot do it himself, and especially in his first year in the league, there's going to be guys targeting him to take him out, and I'm hoping Corey Perry, Nick Foligno, those guys can do their job and protect him. So yeah, Chicago in eighth place still. I don't see a change there. And then we get to seventh, which I could see two teams really finishing in, but I'm going to give it one more year before I move Arizona up. Arizona definitely got better over the offseason. They got Sean Durzi in. Logan Cooley looks like he's going to be playing, among other prospects as well. Arizona just keeps building up, and that's why I'm wearing their jersey because they're the highest team I have finishing. So I have some pretty bad teams in the Central Division, but yeah, it's very very nice logo. The more I look at it, although I do like my Kachina better. It's also it is the road one if you can't tell by the white. But yeah, so Arizona finishing seventh. I don't see them getting past whoever finishes sixth, whether that be St. Louis, whether that be Nashville, whether that be Winnipeg, whether that be Minnesota. And speaking of sixth place, that's where I have the Nashville Predators finishing. Nashville was a tricky team to predict. They kind of got sold off their old core, but with Ryan Johansson's gone, Matt Duchene's gone, Philip Forsberg is still there, and UC Saros are still there. But they brought in guys like Tyson Barrie, they brought in at the deadline. Then they had guys such as Ryan O'Reilly signed there, Luke Shen, among others as well. So it's going to be a very tricky season for Nashville. They could either be really good out of the gate or they could be really bad. We'll see how that goes. Now, going into fifth is where I'm getting a little dicey. Just because I don't know what's going to happen with Winnipeg and how that's going to work, I'm going to have Winnipeg finishing fifth. And I really don't know how this team's going to do. Hellebuck and Scheifele are said to be staying there, which I find strange. If things don't go well, they might be traded at the deadline, which is definitely a possibility. Dubois is already gone. Wheeler's already gone. Ehlers and Connor are probably going to be the only two, I think, that remain there after this purge of the old guard. And they got guys like Velarde and Kupari and Iafallo. We'll see how that works with their depth. They were a playoff team last year, so we'll see if they can get back in, but I don't know. It's going to be very difficult for them. That's leading me to my number 4th spot, the Minnesota Wild. Minnesota is dealing with that cap crunch, and it's going to be a tough time to try to keep in the playoffs with all that cap just gone out from under them. It's going to start getting better after this year, I think. They should start getting more and more cap space freed up, but we'll see. Those buying out Suter and Parise did have a heavy toll on this team. Minnesota, out in the first round last year as usual, look to bounce back from that, but realize how I've not put an X next to their name. Although it seems to be my biggest downfall every year. I seem to always predict, I predicted 5 teams in the Pacific last year. I'm going to be doing that again this year. I think that 5 Pacific teams can make the playoffs over 4 or 5 Central Division teams. Which moves me to my number 3rd spot. We have the St. Louis Blues, who I'll put an X next to, and I might as well put an X. And then a Z over. Z means conference win, by the way. St. Louis went through kind of a retool. They got Kevin Hayes, which I thought was strange. They were in on Timo Meyer, but they also sold at the deadline, but they were adding at the same time. They tried to trade Torrey Krug. It didn't happen. St. Louis was kind of all over the place. We'll see how this team, I think they just had an off year. We'll see how this team just works out. Braden Shen now named the captain. I think that's a good choice. You got guys like Jordan Kyrou and Robert Thomas still in the mix. They're young guys. Along with their defense core, which just needs to be better than they were last year. And then Binnington, of course, needs to step it up and play better than he has in the previous years now. So we'll see how St. Louis works. Over the Central Division, I think it's really a toss-up between Minnesota, Winnipeg, and St. Louis for that third spot. I think it's going to be a close race, but we'll see. I think the Central Division is going to have a lot less points than a lot of the league. Now, at number 2, between Dallas and Colorado. I've seen a lot of people picking Dallas to win the conference, and I also have Dallas winning the conference. They had a fantastic offseason. They got Duchesne at dirt cheap. Although they lose Max Domi in free agency, that was kind of their replacement for him. A bit more scoring there. They're in between cores right now, and they're young guys, Robertson, Hintz, Johnston, keep getting better, and then you have other guys still coming up like Stankoven, who's not even probably going to play this year because Dallas is just such a deep team. Along with the old guard, you have Ben, you have Sagan, and it's a really rare opportunity when you have the mix of two guards, and they're a very dangerous team. We saw that last year. They went going to the conference finals. Vegas kind of stomped them out for the first 3 games and then Game 6. But what else are you going to do about that? In Colorado, they get a new second-line center, Ryan Johansson. Evan Rodriguez was a free agent, and he went to Florida, so that was their replacement. Landeskog is probably still not going to play. They're hoping for playoffs, but with Colorado's weaknesses down the middle, we'll see how that goes. They did do well to I'm not going to say well. They did do some because we don't know how it's going to be. They did do some work to try to fix their issues down the middle, but we'll see how that goes. They still have a strong defense core with Makar, Byram, Manson. Eric Johnson's gone now, but got guys still there that are still going to be a strong defense team and definitely a playoff team. Looking to get back to that cup. But that's going to be all I have for you guys today. Let me know down below your predictions for the 2023-24 Central Division, and I shall see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.